Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar today from Disruption to Transformation. My name's Craig Walden. I'm the Marketing Director here at Opus. I'm joined today by Andrew Tucker, Success Manager from Cirrus Response, and being supported in the background by Romka and Julia. So welcome. I'm pleased to say that the outlook is far more positive than when we put on our last webinar in January. The vaccination program is certainly going well and has led to the government publishing its roadmap out of lockdown. It means that for the short term, there will still be quite a lot of people working from home, and a lot of analysts are saying that will continue for many post-COVID. I think the outlook will be a combination of people working a mixture of part-time at home, part-time in the office, and that needs to happen seamlessly so that work becomes something we do and not necessarily a place we go to. But Forrester's analyst Forrester's are saying that companies who succeed in 2021 will cultivate resiliency, creativity, a customer obsession and adaptability within their workforce, and that's very much the theme about today's webinar, that adaptability in the workforce, and you'll see that as we go through. This is the third in a series of webinars that we put on. The first two are available on our website, and we will share links with you after the event for people that didn't attend previously, but they will be made available. I know some of you will have seen this before on previous webinars, so apologies, but for the people that are less familiar with us, I should just introduce Opus to you. We're an end-to-end technology provider. We have three divisions: a telecoms division that provides communications, collaborations, and customer experience solutions. We have a technology division that provides all the Microsoft Cloud services, security, firewall, switching, Wi-Fi, modern desktop, and so on. And we have a digital division who provide document management solutions, managed print solutions, and multifunction devices. We are independent and privately owned, an increasingly rare claim with so many of our competitors being swallowed up by larger investor-backed organizations. It means that we are in control of our own destiny and can recruit the best staff when we need them and focus on customer service rather than shareholder returns. We've been operating for just over 29 years now. We're in our 30th year. We're an engineering-led organization. We offer a personalized lifetime account management so that the consultants that you engage with when you come on board with Opus remain your account managers throughout your relationship with Opus. We've got a single support number for all of the services that we provide, so you don't have to go looking for who to call, where to call, subject to the service that you take from us. That all comes into a single number. We offer satisfaction guarantee, which is backed by financial penalties and a commitment from senior management to get involved with any issues that require them. We have a very public escalation procedure published on our website that gives you contact details for every layer of escalation up to the owner of our business. And we support in excess of 1,500 public and private sector customers throughout the UK and beyond. One of our core values is to only partner with best of breed technology providers, service providers, as you'll see here. And for those of you that have seen this previously, the keen-eyed amongst you will perhaps notice there are a couple of new logos there, Audio Codes and ASC at the bottom of the screen, who give us the ability to provide feature-rich Microsoft Teams business voice solutions and Teams call recording solutions as well. That's in addition to the contact center services that we can overlay from Cirrus onto Microsoft Teams. We are here today with Cirrus, our strategic contact center partner, providing contact center as a service solutions, which perfectly complement our existing portfolio. So whatever unified communications platform you're using, our contact center services can be overlaid onto those. Cirrus are specialists in the contact center market, offering best of breed technology. They're agile, so they're offering leading edge technology solutions, truly omni-channel. Their security and reliability is second to none with 100% uptime. And they're not just focused on the technology, but they have a real focus on customer success, which is why we've got Andrew Tucker here today, Customer Success Manager at Cirrus, and he's going to talk to you about how we've gone from disruption to transformation. Over to you, Andrew.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, Craig, and good morning, everybody. I'm going to walk through some slides which will help us understand what we've learned over the last 12 months. Disruption to transformation. So my name is Andrew Tucker. I am a success manager in Cirrus. I work as part of the operational team, helping with existing deployments and existing customers to leverage the technology and the capability that they have through Cirrus to make sure that we can drive better success and customer experience. So without further ado, how are contact centers adapting to shifts in customer behavior? A little bit of an agenda for you so you have an idea what's coming up. We're going to have a potted summary of what we know. What has the last 12 months taught us about customer demand and business challenges? We're then going to meet David. A lot of you on this call will recognize and understand who David is and the role that he plays within contact centers at a senior level, helping guide customer experience through an entire business. We're then going to look at where your customers live, strategies for prioritization, how we move into that digital world and how we effectively do it. Then we're going to get to the very nitty-gritty, using data to manage demand. It's all about the data. It's all about the numbers. What do they tell us? Then we're going to look at the missing link, the rise of the UC, unified comms, and how that fits in with the contact center and how that helps power useful, strong CX for your entire business. Then over to some live Q&A sessions, and of course, round up with how to contact us. So without further ado, take a slug of coffee, sit yourselves back, and let's have a recap. What do we know the last 12 months? Well, COVID opened up a significant number of challenges, not only for people who were in the workforce, but for businesses trying to supply services to people, general public, tenants, citizens, and people who were in the sales arena and wanted to access services from contact centers. Businesses were under enormous pressure. Traditional voice channel demand skyrocketed, and the efficiencies that business would have relied upon by having a central cohesive contact center with all of the efficiencies that drives, they then had a fragmented landscape where gaps in process and efficiency became really apparent. So service levels dropped, demand skyrocketed. Customers over the course of the summer started to get a little bit bored with hearing that we can't help you right now as much as we'd like to because of COVID, and frustration levels went through the roof. Siloed systems and siloed departments within businesses really highlighted inefficiencies and presented blockers to customer experience and success. And we'll touch upon that in a little bit later on, especially when we deep dive into the UC connectivity. We found very quickly that the troops on the ground, your actual key agents, the people who make the fundamental difference with the customer experience, whether that be positive or negative, did not have that 360 view of customer. They couldn't see conversational history, and they also, crucially, weren't able to access information that they needed to drive better contact resolution. Agents were suffering, and I take that really, really deeply personally, because ultimately the success of a contact center depends on how well those agents are treated and what tools they're given to be able to perform their job critically. And then crucially, over the course of the summer, and we saw this coming out, problems and challenges became amplified and then erupted into the public arena. So whereby you might have some discontent and some drops in customer satisfaction because your calls aren't being answered, it doesn't take very long for that trend to develop into an amplified, critical public arena complaint, where dissatisfied end users started to smash out social media and really slate businesses for what they perceive to be a lack of delivering critical support and care. It's a bit of a perfect storm, and I can guarantee you there are many businesses that are sat there saying, do you know what, it was rough, it was tough, but what are we going to do about it? And how do we take those lessons that we've learned and apply good forward-thinking planning to make sure that we're robust and fit for the future? So, do you know what? Everybody says it to me. Hit pause. Go on, Andrew, slow down a little bit. Take a proactive approach rather than dealing with a completely reactive approach to customer demand. Understand that there are ways to try and get out of this perceived spiral of customer dissatisfaction. Sometimes businesses really struggle because they're feeling as though there is a relentless, non-stop, death by 1,000 cuts approach to customer satisfaction, where demand outstrips your ability to be able to service your customers. But what you do is you hit pause, you take a proactive approach. Forensic analysis of your data, your core key data, will give us the tools that we need to be able to build a successful roadmap to get a business onto a proper digital transformation path. There are ways out, and you need to be strategic about the approach. I'm going to use the phrase short-term gain, short-term pain for long-term gain. There are tactics and strategies that you can put into a business that will allow you a gradual but high-impact phased approach to transforming your business from a strictly multi-channel and single-channel business to a full interconnected digital one. And the benefits of that are huge. So let's meet David. There he is. Customer Experience Director. He's been with the business for 15 years. David actually started out on the phones, moved up into a team leader in a contact center. Before you know it, putting in hard graft and really devoting himself to customer experience and making sure that his voice was heard, he became contact center manager. 6 or 7 years at the helm of a contact center, 150 heads, decent size, what we call a small, large contact center, with a budget of about £9 million to run. David moved up into the area of SLT. He is now the Customer Experience Director of a small to medium enterprise business. Their business is business to consumer, not business to business. He deals in a center which handles approximately 75,000 calls a month and has currently about 50,000 chats and emails coming in. So actually, template-wise, this is a pretty strong example of an existing established multi-channel business that deals predominantly in transactional enterprise style contacts, but also has critical care and vulnerable VIP customers amongst their base. And David wants to apply his learnings from the last 12 months and COVID, and then present to the board his strategic roadmap, one for the next 6 months, then for the next year, and for 5 years. And David is using demand modeling. So where do your customers live? Currently, 48%, nearly half of all customers out there accessing contact centers contact you using their mobile phone. Now, that's not to say they're actually making phone calls. That's not to say they're using live chat. They're using their mobile phone as a platform. They have an omni-channel piece of technology in their pocket that they're using to access services. There are other platforms that people use to access services into a contact center. Yes, they can use email, desktop, they can actually write or phone, but mobile phones are the workhorse of the general public's choice to contact a contact center. 80% of people who were surveyed in this particular piece of research, which is run by Forrester, said they preferred to use mobile phones. You might say, well, why aren't they using the mobile phone 80% of the time? Think about it. If you're at work and you're trying to contact a contact center, are you going to whip out your mobile phone to actually make a call in front of your boss? No, you're not. You're going to use your desktop with a little bit of a cheeky hidden live chat there in the corner. So yes, there are some restrictions and some user case examples where using a mobile phone isn't particularly practical, but believe you me, drivers into contact centers, platform demand shows us that mobiles are the device of choice. Applying that knowledge gives us some really strong potential benefits. 2, leverage customer satisfaction. Graph on the left, live chat, email, apps, social media, track higher with CSAT scores than traditional phone. So your customers like to use mobile phones. Do you know what? Satisfaction rates using digital channels are higher than traditional voice. Hang on a minute. They have it, they like it, blimey, something's working, but then the actual tactical application of strategic channels to boost market awareness, early stage sales development, and post-sales customer support means you have a 360 approach to channel management now. So we're laying the foundations, and David is very well aware of this as an experienced customer director, to say, let's actually come up with a plan. Customers, they are calling about the same top 20 questions over and over again. 80% of contact center demand is the same top 20 questions. Well, then leverage the fact that 77% of consumers are actually trying to self-serve. They're using their fingers to do the talking. Let's get digital. Let's actually apply the channels to the customers as they want them. Let's not tie them down to single-use channels. Voice, why are you ringing me? Give them the digital. But when they are calling, accept the fact that a typical customer service agent spends up to 75% of the time of the call looking for information to be able to help resolve a customer's inquiry. The inefficiencies found in businesses amplified by COVID has shown that underlying core key systems which are disconnected and work in silos drive inefficiencies and dissatisfaction. So we're laying the foundations for a digital approach. Yes, we are. What do we do next? Let's have a conversation, which is absolutely crucial to the business, and find out what the data tells us. Who are you vulnerable? Who are your VIPs? We know that 80% of your demand is your top 20 questions, but what about the 20% of critical care that you need? Your VIPs, you're vulnerable, you're critical, the ones that you really need to take care of. Otherwise, they erupt onto social media and start bringing your reputation as a business down. So how many times are people calling you? Why are they calling, and who? You get your hit list. Who is my vulnerable? Where are my VIPs? And the data will tell us who that is. And then underlie that with who's calling me from my mobile. And once you've got that information, you are good to go. And we can help analyze that. The core key information is there, and we're looking for these golden nuggets and these trends, because once we have that, we can really put the roadmap into place. And what does that roadmap look like? Reactive to proactive. This is the place that you want to be. Rather than fighting a fire, put it out and take control. Intelligent priority and skill-based routing. This is well established and core technology that's been around for years. But intelligent priority and skill-based routing, what are you doing? I'm identifying the fact that people are calling from mobile phones. So I am giving them a bespoke journey, which can then help carve that conversation off the phone and push it digitally. That's actually quite basic in its conception, but enormously effective. I'm giving bespoke journey in messaging. So I am telling people who are calling, the ones who are my priority, that they are my priority. So I'm not just putting everybody into the same category and bucket. I'm identifying my critical, I'm identifying my VIPs, and I'm giving them the journey that they want. And the ones calling from mobile, I'm treating in a slightly different way, because I know that they can be answered digitally more effectively and quickly. Digital deflection, drive that demand. I'm not saying just cancel the phone lines. No, be forensic and strategic about the demand. So if somebody's calling up about a repair, somebody wants to know what their update is, actually service that digitally. People want the answer, give it to them in a medium which is effective, fast, and easy to deliver. Then we need proper integration and a proper knowledge base for first call resolution. So your contact center is not going to work in an isolated silo. Of course it's not. The information required by an agent to be able to service an inquiry is either going to be in some shared folder or process file somewhere. Share that out. Underpin your contact center with a dynamic knowledge base where they can access the information necessary across all channels and integrate into your CRM. And that's where you really get the power of data. Then identify, because yes, all right, it's a little bit of a trendy thing. Let's go robotic, let AI take it all out. But no, let AI do what it does best. Routine grunt process automation, refunds, transactions. You're able to then hit a 24-hour base customer service model without needing to man your phones or your lines 24 hours a day. Let automation take up some of the strain, but not all of it, because people want to talk to you. Underpin your platform with intelligence so that you can then deliver the right contact to the right team, right people, right place, right time. And then, of course, the nirvana, outcome tagging. Give your business actionable insight, which you can then help power decision-making and drive customer experience. All of this in conjunction forms the fundamental basis for a joined up and cohesive, effective digital transformation. We went through disruption, which was COVID. We've got the information, we know what to do. So let's then work and take the steps to make it effective. None of this is particularly complicated. All of these small pieces will make a difference, but as taken as a whole, you're going to find a tremendous amount of difference can be driven in customer experience to drive success and satisfaction. So all of those people complaining on social media, I'm not going to stop them, but I'll be able to go to the source root of the problem in the beginning and make sure that the critical care is delivered so that the really crucial service is maintained, and the rest of it I can manage. I'm being proactive. Now, what's the missing link? Well, I'm sorry, but as a contact center expert, and I do call myself that, I've been in the industry for 25 years, I'm absolutely passionate about the fact that contact centers don't work in isolation and they cannot be held up for all of the problems of customer experience. But one thing that contact centers do is absolutely embrace the ability to be able to communicate with their customers and resolve first contact resolution. Now, within a typical business, up to 30% of your people within the business as a whole will sit within the contact center. 70% of your business sits within the back office / UC realm. Now, if your underpinning UC platform isn't connected properly to your contact center, then next pie chart, this happens. Your FCR falls. We know that 70% of first contact resolution is at the gift of the contact center skilling, contact center information, knowledge of the agent, and their ability to resolve that question. 30% of demand, that fluctuates depending on industry, 30% of demand cannot be resolved by the contact center and is dependent on another department or another individual within the business that doesn't work directly for them, silos, disconnected systems. That customer experience will never get unblocked until you have a fully integrated UC platform, which allows agents to then access outside externally to talk to people who know and help drive FCR. At the moment, there is little accountability and little visibility, but one thing that this last 12 months has done is shown us that we can address it because we're aware that it's there. So overall, what does David need? Actually, his shopping list isn't that great. He's got an omni-channel platform, which is going to give his agents 360-degree visibility and allow his agents to be able to communicate with customers in their channel of choice. There's going to be an underpinning AI and self-service mechanism, which will help with the grunt work to allow 24-hour automation and answer the basic frequently asked questions, and also do a level of automation so that you can drive through some efficiencies in the process. And then he's going to want a fully integrated, digitally capable UC to bring the whole process and give that full customer experience and accountability. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our approach to digital transformation. Take control, be proactive, and let the data form the plan. Now, any questions?
Sorry, I should have said at the beginning that you can add questions into the chat. We've got a couple of questions that were sent in as people registered. So one, and I think you touched on it earlier, Andrew, was how do we decide which media channels should be added to our contact center?
Well, that's a good question, actually, Craig. Yes, I think it's quite topical. So social media, often by the time people hit social media, it means the horse or the complaint is bolted. So people are actually just venting because they're completely dissatisfied. Depending on the industry, right? So if you're business to business, if you're a business-to-business enterprise, often social media isn't a massively important medium for you to be able to monitor. It's nice to be able to see what's out there. But business to consumer, depending on your arena, depending on your vertical, social media has a massive impact. So I can't tell you which social media channels to actually go for, but what I can tell you is you need a platform that's capable of allowing you to monitor the principal ones. And then the key here is taking that public protest or public complaint and public narrative, which you want to be able to monitor, and bringing that into a one-to-one direct instant message arena. So knowing what your customers are saying and then have the ability to take it and actually take control of it. So we at Cirrus do have the full gamut of social media channels available, yes. And we have the ability to take social media input and put them into instant message. That application and design, you need to talk to Opus. You need to find out exactly what the case studies are and what your data tells you before we just say, yeah, have it all. Don't do spray and pray, be tactical about it.
Thank you. The next one is, how easy is it to add contact center technology to Microsoft Teams?
Oh, it's a bit of a hot topic, that one, isn't it? So I'm going to turn that one on its head, actually. What we are finding is, yes, there's a lot of chat and there's a lot of interest in Microsoft Teams at the moment, and rightly so. I think it's a superb bit of kit, and it really does complement the business. Of course, there are other ones out there which are capable too, but the juggernaut that is Microsoft is driving this through. So I think it's actually important to understand at what stage is your business prepared to do this, because you've got licensing models with Microsoft to consider first. Are your licenses the right ones to be able to integrate into UC and take that into the public arena, rather than an internal piece of kit to communicate? You're now talking about using it for external. What's your core plan, and address those issues so you know what your fundamental basic costs are going to be, and then what's your Microsoft support package look like, because now we're entering into the realm of very complex bits of public facing kit. Once you've established that, it's actually quite straightforward for us because we overlay and integrate. It is another tool and platform that we are able to integrate with and deliver our services through. So it can be a Horizon Fabric, it can be a Mitel, it can be a Cisco, it can be a Microsoft Teams. Talk to Opus, let's see what you need, and we can take it from there.
And I should add that we can certainly help with the Microsoft Teams licensing and take care of your needs there as a Microsoft Cloud Solutions partner. The next question I've got is, if we were to introduce digital channels to our contact center, what percentage drop in calls could we expect?
Oh, okay, yeah. So people always want some form of ROI, and I would say typically, and this is us actually looking at what the data has told us over the last significant number of deployments that we've done, because we've been all systems going COVID here at Cirrus, and we've delivered some significant transformation pieces to significant well-known businesses of different sizes. Actually, you're looking at a benchmark figure of about 30%, 35% drop in calls. Interesting, yeah, that's a nice headline figure. Do you know where the sweet spot is though, Craig? And I will say this because often people overlook it. It's where you'll get your digital savings in other channels. Email. You go digital and you actually put strategically well thought out digital channels in front of a consumer who likes to type, because we know they do, your email volumes will drop and plummet dramatically. We're seeing drops of 50 to 60% in emails. What does that then open up? Actual proper channel focus. Keep your voice for your critical, keep your instant message for the when can I, how do I, where do I, and then keep your email for your complaints and your core long-term archivable regulated complaints. Think housing associations, think public sector, think travel, for example. After 28 days to complain, do it on an email. Then you've got the proper segmentation of channels, and you can apply the right people doing the right jobs at the right time and keep that demand under control. Ranting, I know I am, but I'm passionate about this. Voice 35, email easily 50 to 60. Oh.
And thank you, Adjoa. Any reduction in email would be welcome on my part. One question I've had in, how can we improve the digital platform as our customers like calling us?
Hey, that's a brilliant question. Of course they do, probably because you're actually allowing them to call and you're not training them. Short term. Now, this is a bit controversial, okay? Customers will call you, and what's probably happening, and I'm assuming, right? So they're calling you and they're approaching you on digital. So you're inflating your demand map. Your actual demand rate's increasing because they're waiting to see which one you answer first. One, you've got to make sure your digital channels are manned properly so that people aren't waiting. And then also, depending on the contact type, because we're talking keeping digital demand for critical, we're talking keeping voice for critical. Understand that channels have equal weight. Be SLA agnostic around your digital. Increase the amount of capability that you have by manning it so that those questions are answered more quickly, and then start segmenting and throttling voice. And you can do this with a fully integrated, capable piece of kit. Make it difficult for people to call about certain things and deflect from voice by pushing them into digital. And of course, that's something that we do. It's a particularly powerful tool that we have available to us in Cirrus, where we can deflect live voice to digital, allowing the very, very important digital voice transactions to be maintained, because that's what you want to be able to put the most emphasis on. So there's some practical tips and approach and help that we can provide. Talk to Opus and let's engage in a conversation.
Yes, thank you, Andrew, and thanks for the question, Andrew. We'll perhaps we can take that one offline with you, and we'll get to Matt to have a chat with you about that. I think that's all the questions we've had. You've kindly gone on to the next slide, I think, which is next steps. So we will send out a copy of the slides in case you want to share them with anybody. We will send out a cleaned up version of the recording without the hiccups at the beginning. So in case you want to share that with any of your colleagues. As we close the webinar down, there will be a short bit of feedback asked, and if you need any help immediately, book a discovery session with us, talk to your account manager, and let's find out what you're trying to do, and we'll come up with the ways in which we can help you. Things to look out for from Opus. There is an article available on our website, and we'll share a link in the follow-up emails about the digital consumer and how the rise of what that means to customer experience and how we can help with that. We've got for the Mitel users on the call, we have got a customer summary coming up, a customer overview coming up, following on from the recent Mitel Global Sales launch on the 25th of March. And we've got a number of webinars being planned at the moment. One being a series about Microsoft Teams and the integrations, including the contact center for Teams. So that answers the question, possibly answers the question that we've got about how easy is it to do that. We can cover that off, and we'll be putting out some events around our security solutions as well. So I think it's just the final slide then, Andrew, with the contact details. But thank you everybody for bearing with us at the beginning, and hope you all have a good day, and see you next time. Thank you very much. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.